System Integration Architecture Assessment. Assessment 1. What is Eloquent ORM in Laravel and how does it simplify database interactions? Eloquent ORM in Laravel makes it easy to work with databases. You use models to create, read, update, and delete data in a simple way. It also helps manage relationships between data, making your code easier to read and write. Number 2. How does Laravel handle HTTP requests and define routes? Laravel manages HTTP requests with routes in routes web.php and routes.api.php. You define routes using get and post, support dynamic parameters, and add middleware for authentication. Match routes direct requests to controllers or closure for processing and responses. Number 3. Explain the role of Blade templating engine in Laravel. Blade is Laravel's templating engine that makes it easy to create dynamic web pages. It lets you use PHP and HTML, supports template inheritance, and includes loops and conditionals. Blade compiles templates into fast PHP code, improving performance. Number 4. What are the security features provided by Laravel? Laravel has key security features like CSRF protection, XSS protection, and SQL injection prevention. It offers built-in authentication, secure password hashing, data encryption, and middleware to enhance security. These tools help keeps up safe. Number 5. How does Laravel support task scheduling? Laravel lets you schedule tasks in the app console kernel class. You can run tasks every minute or daily. Just set up one cron job on your server to call the scheduler every minute to manage everything easily. Assessment 2. Number 1. How can you define a simple route in Laravel and what would be a real-life example? In Laravel, you define a simple route in routes web.php to return a message or display content when users visit a specific URL. For example, a route can show a greeting or load a homepage view, making navigation easy. Number 2. How do name routes work in Laravel and how might you use them in a real-world application? Name routes in Laravel allow you to assign a name to a route for easier reference. This simplifies URL management and keeps your code clean. You can use them for navigation, links, and handle dynamic content like user IDs efficiently. Number 3. What is the purpose of routes groups in Laravel and how might they be used? Route groups in Laravel help organize routes that have common features, such as the same middleware or URL prefix. This makes your routing simpler and cleaner, like keeping all user-related routes together or adding a prefix for an API. Number 4. How does middleware work in Laravel, and can you provide a practical example? Middleware in Laravel filter requests, handling tasks like checking if a user is logged in. Number 5. How can you handle form submissions in CSRF protection in Laravel? In Laravel, handle form submissions by creating a route in controller. Use @CSRF in your form for security. This ensures safe data processing. Assessment 3. Number 1. What is template inheritance in Blade and how can it be used in a real-world application? Template inheritance in Blade lets you create a main layout for your application. You can define a layout with common parts like a header and footer. Then, other views can use this layout by adding their own content with @extends and at section. This keeps your design consistent, makes it easier to manage your views. Number 2. How can blade sections and yields be utilized to manage content in a different views? Blades at section and at yield help you organize content easily. In your layout, use at yield to create spots for content. In your views, use at section to fill those spots. This keeps your layout the same while letting each view show different content, making it simpler to manage. Number 3. How do blade control structures makes your code more readable compared to raw PHP? Blade control structures make your code easier to read by using simple commands like @if instead of raw PHP tags. This keeps the code cleaner and looks more like HTML, making it easier to understand and organize. What is the purpose of syntax in Blade and why it is important for security? The syntax in Blade is used to display data safely. It escapes HTML characters to protect against XSS, cross-site scripting attacks. This help keep your application secure by preventing harmful code from being executed when showing user input. Number 5. How can Blade's components and slots be used to create reusable UI elements? Blade's components and slots let you create reusable UI elements. You define a component in a Blade file and use slots for different content. This makes it easy to reuse elements and keep your code clean. Assessment 4. Number 1. How do you configure multiple database connections in Laravel? And why might you need this in a real-world application? To configure multiple database connections in Laravel, add them in the config database.php file under connections. This helps keep data separate, improves performance, and make it easier to move data between databases. Number 2. How can Laravel's query builder be used to efficiently retrieve data from the database? And what is a real-world example of this? Laravel's query builder makes it easy to get data from the database. You can quickly find active users and sort them. This keeps your code simple and helps your app load data faster. Number 3. How do you define and use eloquent models in Laravel? And what is a practical use case for this? In Laravel, eloquent model lets you work with databases tables. You create a model with the artisan command and define it in app models. You can easily get and add data. A common use case is managing user accounts, making it simple to find and update users. Number 4. What are migrations in Laravel and how are they used to manage database schema changes? Migrations in Laravel manage database changes using PHP. You create migration files, define the table structure, and apply changes with PHP Artisan Migrate. You can also roll back changes if needed. Migrations keeps the database organized and ensure everyone has the same structure. How do you create and use seeders in Laravel to populate your database with initial data? In Laravel, seeders are used to add initial data to the database. You create a seeder with an artisan command, define the data in the file, and run it using PHP Artisan dbseed. You can also combine multiple seeders in database_seeder.php. This makes it simple to insert sample data for testing.